This is beyond the obstacle, and once we get loaded in, we will look at the swinging boulders and their mechanics. As we climb up the ledges, you will notice 3 swinging boulders to your right and 1 in front of you. They are set up to swing the same distance, and once they have reached the distance in one way, they will reverse and swing to a distance that has been coded into their mechanic or blueprint. We cross the tight light to show you how fast the boulders swing and how they light up on the walls and the line itself. Now we transition into blueprint aspect of the video, where we discuss what is actually visually scripted to make boulders swing. As you can see, the blueprint is somewhat simplistic in nature. It's coded to start when the player starts the game. The first node on the timeline is set at 0.0 and -30. The second node is set at 8.0 and +30. Distance of 30 each way, therefore we can calculate the speed at approximately at 23.56 meters per second. Now we move on to the moving platform, where it moves from point A to point B. The player does not slide off while traveling on the moving platform while it's moving. We transition into the blueprint aspect of the moving platform, and my second moving platform in my level is set up exactly like this one. I have added a movement mechanic in the detail panel and added a point of destination in the level. Those destination points and movement component is what makes the platform move. As you can see on the presentation that there is a little purple diamond shape, and that is a destination point. We move into the next pressure plate system in our level. The pressure plate, once activated, brings up a platform and the key that is needed on order to escape the level. In the blueprints of the platform, you can see that there are pressure plates needed and activated pressure plates on the line of code. This too also follows a timeline and set relative location. We go into the time and see that each point is at the beginning and ending of the timeline. It goes from 50 to 500 over a period of 5 seconds. Once again, we transition from one mechanic to the next. The next mechanic is the pressure plate that goes with the platform. When the block overlaps the collision box, it activates the overlap begin node that activates the platform. Now we transition into our third to last mechanic on this presentation. This mechanic opens the door that hides the wind door that the player unlocks. We go into blueprint and see how it ticks, or how the mechanic works. As we can see, it's similar to a few other blueprints, but it's connected to the door that hides the wind door. Once the block overlaps the collision box, it sends a signal to the door to open. We enter the timeline as the first node is set at 3.0 and 0, while the second node is at 0 and 3.0 for the pressure plate to move. We move into the door blueprint that is connected to this pressure plate. As a few other pressure plate systems, we see a similar setup with needing a number of pressure plates to be active to open the door. The number needed is 1, and the blueprint checks to see if one pressure plate is activated, and that blueprint has to be connected to each other. To deactivate the door, there must no activated pressure plate in order for the door to close. Each activated and deactivated node has its own timeline. We now transition into the block door and its pressure plate. The pressure plate is set up almost identical to the door system that blocks the player from the wind door. The layout of the pressure plate is very basic. 2 blocks of varying size and thickness. We go into the blueprint code of the pressure plate. It's also set up like most of my other ones, but connected to a different door, and its depth that it goes is different as well. The door opens slightly faster than the door that blocks the wind door. Lastly, we transition into the block door that prevents the player from getting to the door before the wind door. This door prevents the player from jumping around it. Like my other doors and pressure plate, this is set up similarly but is connected to its own pressure plate and its own timeline. The speed is also different from others. That's all of my mechanics in my level. They are on the simpler side of mechanics and they get the job done. Thank you for watching my video and I hope you enjoyed.